Okay, this is going to be a really quick video on how to track iFrame visits. One of the annoying pieces of tracking things in an iFrame, especially if you're using Tag Manager, is that Tag Manager is installed on your website, but it's not installed on the website of whoever's hosting your iFrame. And we'll kind of run through what that means. But if you put it into preview and you try to contact someone, inside of this website, if I click here, Tag Manager is tracking the clicks. And that's because you're clicking on the website that we have control over here. But the second you scroll over an iFrame, if you click here, these clicks are no longer registering. So you don't see any additional clicks here showing up, even though I'm clicking on the account. And we are still on the website we own, but somehow we can't track anything here, and that's because you're inside of an iFrame. So if you're on Google Chrome, obviously the symptoms are pretty easy to detect with Tag Manager. If there's no clicks being tracked, you're probably in an iFrame, but the nice thing about Chrome is they'll let you view frame source. That's another very easy way of knowing that you're using an iFrame. So it'll say you have an iFrame. When you click view frame source, it tells you whose iFrame this is and what website owns it. In this case, you can see that it's Calendly that owns it. So all that you would need to do is go over to Calendly and make sure that you can track it there, because we can't install tracking on their website using Tag Manager inside of this iFrame, at least not from here. But we could go over to Calendly and set it up from there. The way this would work is in your Tag Manager, you would want to make sure that you append URL parameters, and these two little tags will help you guys send what source someone was coming from when they first clicked on this website, and it will append the parameters of wherever they came from, Facebook ads, Google ads, whatever. And your tag should look like this, so take a screenshot and try to make sure that you adjust the code as needed. Have it fire on the DOM ready trigger. So here's a screenshot of what that should look like as well. Save it, and then we're going to make a second tag here that looks like, let's zoom this out a little. Here's the code, the HTML, and then here's the trigger. It's also on DOM ready. Make sure you get a little screenshot of this. Those are all the settings. Once that's done, publish the changes in Tag Manager. And what that's going to do is whenever someone's on the site you own and they click into this Calendly invite, it will append the URL if they're ever sent over to Calendly from a website visit. So if they're redirected at any point in time to a Calendly booking site, Calendly's going to know that they came from that source because of the Tag Manager code that you've included. It might not work with all integrations. This one, for example, is just inside of an iFrame, so there's no redirect. But if you guys are redirecting, like if someone clicks a link to book and then they're redirected, it would track that very well. For iFrames, since that's the main focus of this training course, you have to do a different route. So that route is going to be in Calendly setting up the integration. So integrations, here's what they currently have. If you don't see it here, I would suggest doing Zapier as your integrator, because they're probably going to have a lot of other things that you can do with this webhook. But Google Analytics is definitely one that we want to do. Google Analytics is going to know the source someone came from. So you click on that link and say setup. It's asking you simply for the tracking ID. All you have to do is go to your Google Analytics, click admin, tracking info, tracking code, and then paste this little one right here. You copy it, and then you paste it there and click save. The next thing that you're going to want to do if you're doing Facebook ads is go and find your Facebook pixel. So click setup. It's going to ask you for the Facebook pixel ID. To find that, you click on the top left corner here and choose Events Manager, and it's going to show you all the different pixels that you have inside of your account. And each of them is going to have a little ID. So right here is a good example of your ID. You would copy that, and then you would paste it here and click connect. Those are two really easy integrations that will let you track Facebook ads. Zapier will cover pretty much anything else that you need. And then Google Analytics will show all of the source information that Google Analytics can track, saying that they converted, And if you have a pixel that's being stored, it would know where they came from and maybe even let you import it back to Google Ads depending on how your integration works and how much time has passed. So that the pixel should probably last only for about 24 hours since this is a third-party pixel. So don't expect Calendly booking events to be tracked in Google Ads for 90 days. It's probably going to expire if they don't convert that day. But it's still better than having nothing that you can track. It's one of the things about iframes that can make it difficult. The other way that we can discuss on another video to track iframes is if you actually have access to your other website that's iframing in here, and they will let you install a tag only on your link. So if Calendly, for example, allowed partners, which they don't, I wish they did, but if they did allow partners to install Tag Manager inside of just their company's booking page, then you would actually have a little Tag Manager pop up right here inside at the same time that it pops up here outside. And it would allow you to actually create tags that fire inside of Calendly's website at the same time. And that is the equivalent of tracking clicks on your main site. So that's the best way to track iframes, in my opinion. The only downside is that most iframes are going to be hosted by companies that don't allow you to access their unique pages with just one code. But some of them do, so it's worth asking whoever owns the iframe site that you're using for your plugin or your integration. Just ask if they'll let you install a Tag Manager code, and if they do, take full advantage of that. We'll make another video on that later.